In today's video, we are going to talk about the Conservative conference and the storm in a teacup that is Suella Braverman.
I like big cuts and cannot lie. Kiss the NHS goodbye now. When Jerry walks in with that itty bitty face and a big smile on his face, you'll get stung.
Welcome back to the video, guys. This is the channel where we talk about truth. We believe nothing. We investigate everything. Do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the video, share the video. It helps me out a lot. It costs nothing for you to do. It helps the channel go a long way. Let's go. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Conservative conference and the comments that Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, if you didn't know who he was, and Suella Braverman have made to the conference. Now, the Conservative conference every year is a chance for the Conservative candidates, the grandees of the Conservative Party, to basically self-embellish their own achievements, if there is any, and basically tell the whole world, like, look at me, look what I've done, even though when you scratch the surface, they haven't done very much. Now, the first point of order we're going to talk about is Rishi Sunak and what he has said about his general election chances.
Frick.
He is quoted as saying, a general election is not what the country wants. No, mate, it's not what you want, because you have a pretty good idea that you will lose. And that somehow, unbeknownst to me, but obviously beknownst to the gods, Keir Starmer will potentially win and will potentially be the Prime Minister. He might even cut a deal with the Lib Dems and have a coalition government with the Lib Dems. Can you imagine? Do you remember how the last coalition government with the Lib Dems went?
Thank you. Andy Bell, 5 News. First of all, congratulations to you both, Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister. You now regret when once asked what your favourite joke was, you replied, Nick Clegg. And Deputy Prime Minister, what do you think of that?
We're all going to have. I'm afraid I did once.
Right.
So, Rishi Sunak said this. General election is not what the country wants. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak told Sky News a little earlier when it was put to him that he was a man without a mandate, in reference to Sunak taking the reins of the country after a Conservative Party vote and not in a general election. Sunak said he was just getting on with the job. Basically, I'm just getting on with the job translates to, I know I didn't get here fairly, just leave me alone till next year, please. He didn't even have a grassroots member vote. It's just the MPs nominated him and that was it. There was no competition. Okay, who was it? Penny Mordaunt. Penny Mordaunt dropped out in the last hour, and oh, surprise, surprise, she's got a job in the front bench. What does that tell you? It's all politics, ironically. And he said that he's confident he would be Prime Minister following the next general election. The next general election must be held before 28th of January 2025. At the moment, the Labour Party is far ahead in the polls. On earth Labour are far ahead in the polls, I will never know. Suella Braverman has also been causing a stir at the Conservative Party conference. She's been talking about sexual predators changing their name. She's been talking about the Human Rights Act, or what she bills it as, the Criminal Rights Act. And she's also been talking about mass migration. She's even pondered a new quote that will probably go down in history synonymously to that of rivers of blood, or the white heat of revolution, but hers will be shittier, I believe. There is a big problem of sex offenders changing their name. This is what was said about how often sex offenders change their name. Suella Braverman's new legislation to stop registered sex offenders from changing their names is aimed at preventing them from escaping the country's sex offender register, but how widespread is the problem? At the moment, sex offenders are required to tell the authorities of any changes in their personal details. While the figures on name and gender changes are unclear, Labour MP Sarah Champion said in February more than 16,000 registered sex offenders had breached their notification requirements between 2015 and 2020. In March, Freedom of Information requests by BBC News revealed that 729 sex offenders had gone missing or were wanted for arrest from 2019 to 2021. Champion at the time called this a scandal and said the key reasons so many offenders went missing were because they had changed their names. 729 sex offenders have gone missing. They are allowed to change gender and change their names as long as they notify the government, which they don't do, but they will probably just change their names or gender anyway. And now we can't find them. 729 people. How is this not a scandal akin to that of mass migration? Speaking of mass migration, this is what Suella Braverman had to say about the Human Rights Act, which may add was passed by Labour in 1998. Okay, this is what she said. She said she was surprised the Human Rights Act, which sets minimum standards of how everyone should be treated by public bodies, was not called the Criminal Rights Act. The Human Rights Act, passed by a Labour government in 1998, includes basic rights to a fair trial, life and freedom from ill treatment, and protections against discrimination or unfair interference in private and family life. Talking about it in the context of unprecedented mass migration, Braverman says that the Human Rights Act has turbocharged their impact on the country. Conservatives existing have turbocharged their impact on society. Now, this is the big one. Suella Braverman pondered a new quote to the audience, one that will go down in relative history. She said, "A hurricane of migration is coming."
The wind of change that carried my own parents across the globe in the 20th century was a mere gust compared to the hurricane that is coming.
Braverman admits that she can't pretend politicians, including conservatives, have done well to curb migration over the past 30 years. We were too slow to recognise the scale of the problem, she says, and far too squeamish about being smeared as racist to properly bring order to the chaos. The wind of change that carried my own parents across the globe in the 20th century was a mere gust compared to the hurricane that is coming, she says, in reference to the mass migration today. Her own parents coming across the globe was called a gust of wind compared to the hurricane that is coming. A gust of wind? That's because people back then were genuinely trying to escape impoverished lives. They're trying to make their own lives and their kids' lives better. Now they're just coming for money. They're just coming to open up a Turkish barber's near you. Do you think that mass migration is a problem? Do you think that Suella Braverman was right in labelling the oncoming storm as a migration hurricane? Do you think that 50, 60, 70 years ago it was just a gust of wind? I agree that migration is totally out of control, but I also agree that it's basically half their fault. When these problems go from just being at the border in Dover to seeping into your own daily lives, that's when it becomes a problem. When they are taking up hotel after hotel after hotel on your seaside town, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when people start uproaring. I don't think the Conservatives have got the balls to sort the problem. I don't think Labour have got the balls to sort the problem. I don't think any of them have got the balls to sort the problem. It's only when the country have an uprising, not revolt, but just say no more. That's when they will start doing something. It will get to a point where it's like a powder keg and it will explode, and then we will see changes. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share to your friends. It helps the channel go a huge way and it helps me out tenfold. Did you enjoy today's video? Why don't you check out some of my other videos? I've got a video where I regret Brexit. Also, subscribe to the channel over here. Thank you for watching. See you next time.